Hello everyone, this is Jan Chromi and together we will continue the course Interdisciplinary Approaches to Language and its Use. In this presentation we will discuss lexical access as one of the key processes during language production. Based on the sound errors we described in the previous presentation, we may assume that words are selected before they are phonologically coded. We also know that the activation of a concept activates also the adjacent concepts. This may lead to certain production problems, for example to word exchanges or to the inability to select the appropriate word. In other words, we know that while producing an utterance, words compete to be selected. We also know that this competition is somehow constrained. For example, various studies give evidence to the fact that grammatical class of the word and contextual features constrain the word selection. Word selection is influenced by various other factors. One of these factors is the imageability or concreteness of the word meaning. Words with concrete and imageable meanings are selected more easily than words with abstract and less imageable meanings. In the next few slides, we will focus on the situation when speakers fail to retrieve the word they want to produce. From time to time, probably all of us get into a situation where we want to say a certain word, but we just cannot. In English, people say that the word is on their tip of the tongue. For language production research, the tip of the tongue state is highly informative because it gives us an idea how the process of word selection actually proceeds. The most important thing is that the existence of this state points out that the phonological processes are at least in part independent of syntactic and semantic processes. However, the research of the tip of the tongue state is not easy. One possibility is to do a diary study, when we instruct speakers to record each encounter of a tip of the tongue state into a specific structured diary. Another possibility is to try to induce the tip of the tongue state in the lab. Both methods have their pros and cons, which is also reflected in the fact that they do not always yield the same results. Diary studies are prone to inaccuracy because the speakers may sometimes forget to record the tip of the tongue state, or they may not record the case immediately but with a certain time lag, and therefore they may misrepresent what actually happened. Laboratory studies may be hard to do because it is not easy to induce the tip of the tongue states. The typical way how to induce the tip of the tongue state is to ask a question which targets a certain word. For example, we may use dictionary definitions to induce the tip of the tongue state, such as a large marine mammal related to the eared seals having two large downward pointing tusks and found in the Arctic Ocean. Or we may use direct encyclopedic questions such as what is the surname of the author of the Harry Potter book series? Or what is the capital of Sweden? Questions such as these elicit the tip of the tongue states only in about 10 to 20% of cases, which is not much. Therefore, laboratory studies typically employ a lot of these questions during a session to get enough material from each participant. So what about you? Do you experience a tip of the tongue state? If yes, try to think what you can say about the word you cannot say. There are many things we know about the tip of the tongue states. They are all nicely summed in Ellen Brown's book, The Tip of the Tongue State, which I would like to recommend to you. For example, based on various diary studies, we know that the tip of the tongue states occur about once per week and the frequency increases with age. We also know that the tip of the tongue states are more typical for proper names. An unresolved issue is the role of word frequency. The findings are somehow inconclusive, but the idea would be that the higher is the frequency, the less prone to the tip of the tongue state the word is. During the tip of the tongue state, we can often access various information about the word, even if we cannot retrieve the word as such. For example, we can often say, what is the first sound of the word? Or what is the grammatical gender of the word? Also, we can typically name various associated words. Important is the role of the so-called interlopers, which are the words which come up instead of the word we want to say. They happen at least in every other occurrence of the state. Importantly, the interlopers tend to be semantically or phonologically related, which again points to the organization of the mental lexicon. The tip of the tongue states may be resolved by cueing, for example, if another person gives you a hint, with the first syllable of the word or so. But the diary studies actually inform us that it is not automatic that we are able to overcome the tip of the tongue state. Before we will end this presentation, I have one reading tip for you. If you would like to get acquainted with the research on lexical access during production in more detail, you should read this review study by Zenzi Griffin and Victor Ferreira. Also, I have an exercise for you. Record your tip of the tongue states for at least 4 weeks. Record as detailed information about each state as you can. And after some time, look at what you found and analyze the tendencies. And here are the answers to the questions at last. If you experience the tip of the tongue state, let us know. That is all from me now. See you next time.